But if you go to Claude and you put in the same search results, it's going to give you 5 candidates, but it's also going to give you the competencies that those companies index on, so you know what to question that candidate about or what to say in the outreach. With the premium feature, you can click on a button and ask the question, tell me more about Sam. And it gives me a short bio about Sam, right? And that's a premium feature. And if you are listening and you are a candidate or you're a recruiter and you want to be part of this mission, reach out to me because I want to get you on board. Whether you are doing data science, whether you're doing machine learning, whether you're developing applications, whether you're an iOS developer,
I'm loving this like shoulder wiggle countdown.
shoulder wiggle countdown. Yeah, that's what's up.
It's the Nashville energy. We're bringing the music. We're here, man, and it was an absolute pleasure to meet you face to face after connecting online for so long. Yeah, a couple of weeks back in Nashville. So, welcome to the show. I think for people that don't know you, that have been living in a box, if they're in the world of sourcing, in the world of recruitment, haven't come across one of your posts, your book, visits on podcasts, on stages. We'd love to get an intro as to who you are, what you do, what you're all about.
Well, Sam, thanks for having me on the program. I'm excited to be a part of your community, and thank you for building community at scale with the likes of Jamie Leonard with RecFest, and now building it for this community here to really take their recruiting and sourcing abilities next level. For those of you who don't know me, I am the overly energetic and positive Brian Fink. I am a talent acquisition partner at McAfee Security, where we work our hardest to keep families and individuals safe online so they can be free to be who they are, where they are, and when they are. Sam did mention that I'm the author of a book, Talk Tech to Me. It is the non-technical guide to technical recruiting. It's been out for a year, and there are to date 5,186 of you who have gotten a hold of this book and are using it daily to make recruiting that much more efficient, effective, and I like to say you bring the confidence and you bring the fire. And speaking of bringing the confidence and the fire, that's what I'm going to do with Sam today. Party people, welcome to a Wednesday. We wear pink on Wednesday. You know that, pink for your Fink. Finked in, pinked in. It's all ready to go. Let's have some fun.
Man, hashtags galore. And also the sound bites for McAfee. You could be on the advert, man. That was like ridiculously on point. Was that company guided? Do you all know how to say it?
No, it's not company guided. It's just, we do put the customer at the core of everything that we do. We have a set of principles that I think extend to if you buy into McAfee and you buy into our mission and you buy into our product, it's difficult not to buy into these values and to innovate without fear and to really kind of come to the conversation, whether it's with a candidate, whether it's with an individual, about what we're doing to keep people safe. I mean, I'm super excited about our new DeepFake Detector. It's an AI tool. If you want to learn more about it, and now I'm going to get pitchy, right? Like, say it was my candidate, right?
I want to hear about this first. We've got a completely different topic. This is not on it, and I want to hear about this DeepFake Detector, man. That sounds awesome.
Okay, so our DeepFake Detector, it's a product that we've launched with some key partners, and what it does is it detects whether the image or the video has been produced by an LLM. So when you think about the activities that are taking place online, the new ways that cyber criminals are trying to spoof a presence of an individual, this, much like our Mockingbird, our project Mockingbird that we released or that we started talking about and have now baked into this project, we're doing a lot of different things beyond just VPN, beyond just antivirus software to keep people safe and to do it at scale. And if you are listening and you are a candidate or you're a recruiter and you want to be part of this mission, reach out to me because I want to get you on board, whether you are doing data science, whether you're doing machine learning, whether you're developing applications, whether you're an iOS developer. Heck, you could even be the person that I'm looking for today who's going to be building our sound lab cast environment in the Frisco location. So a lot of different things, a lot of different roles that I'm working on. I do work globally. I was up early this morning with Snigna in India, which was late for her. So just really, really excited to be a part of the program and to be part of the initiatives that we have at McAfee. Like I said, to keep families and individuals safe at scale. That's something that's really important to me. It's something that I was really passionate about doing when I was at AWS and when I was at Twitter. If you've read my LinkedIn bio, you know that I was a tweet and that I was part of the team, the Redbird team that was responsible for building those apparatus, those software applications, those teams that drove protecting people from spam, from nefarious pictures, all those different details, right? So I'm glad that I get to carry on my mission and protect families at scale, right? Like that's something that's important to me. And then I get down on it. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, mate. Protecting families at scale. Brian Fink. I love that personal. And I think the deepfake thing's fascinating, right? I've seen so many images and videos. And I remember when I think it wasn't Dali, it was the Mid-Journey when Mid-Journey first came out. And I was sitting there having a few beers and we were making celebrities do all sorts of things. You know, Trump was making pasta and canoes.
Dude, I know. Crazy stuff, right?
Volcano, right? But now where the tech is at, you know, it's a feasibly, real tangibly difficult era that we could enter into where, you know, we could do a deep fake of this conversation and we could be saying wholly different things. So I think that's a magnificent piece of tech.
So Sam, actually, to bring this back to what we were talking about in the pregame. So those of you who weren't in the pregame, I know Sam didn't hit the record button while we were planning what we were going to talk about. Notes. And Sam, just be like, I'm the host. I'll run the show. Thank you.
I'll
take the microphone.
I'm loving it.
But the reality of it is that Sam and I were having a conversation about the future of sourcing and the future of recruiting and how it interplays with artificial intelligence. And so I think about this a lot. So we live in an environment where it's becoming increasingly difficult to discern what is fake and what is real. Right? Or what is really fake, Ethan. So as we talk about that, I wonder about how much harder it's going to become for recruiters to go after candidates and to have those conversations in an authentic manner when it starts with an email or a voicemail. And so much like, you know, shout out to a company here in Atlanta, SalesLoft. SalesLoft used to have, or I think they still have an application where I can just drop a voicemail into somebody's voicemail. Right. And if I'm dropping that voicemail, I don't say Sam unless I'm only calling Sam's that day. And I say, hey, Brian Fink here. Just wanted to connect with you about what you're building at the University of Berkeley. I think it's really impressive. I'm speaking in generalities, right? But I've mentioned the University of Berkeley. Maybe I'm only targeting data engineers that worked or who went to school at the University of Berkeley and had published papers on that. When it becomes that kind of anodyne, I don't know how successful recruiters are going to be. And I think anodyne is the word I want to use, is that how successful recruiters are going to be when they just parse out these really simplistic, vanilla messages. And then if we, on the opposite side of things, if we go too deep, Sam, and we say, hey, Sam, notice the work that you did at UC Berkeley. I think that's a great school. Go Bear. Is it the Bears? I don't know. You don't know either, but it is
no idea.
No ideas, right? But really like what you do at UC Berkeley. I think your paper on generative neural networks is really impressive. I'd like to talk to you about RAGs modeling. Is that I think that there's going to have to be a fine line walk between what's really real and what's really fake, because candidates are getting bombarded with messages. I know that we're talking about a market where recruiters are getting bombarded with resumes, right? And there's a deluge of resumes and applicants that are out there. But I think that there's still this activity where we're looking for that passive talent and we're trying to attract them. And how do we do so with a message that is distinct enough to cut through the noise and create signal in that noise? Sam, what you got?
You were going to use that exact same phrase, but like it's signal to noise ratio, right? And I think this is the biggest challenge that we're going to have on both sides. It's this huge swathe of applications. It's so much easier to make an application. And it's this element of truthiness. So we're talking about, like, on the recruiter's side, us being able to send out a series of seemingly unique messages to a variety of people. But actually on the other side, you've got candidates using generative AI to produce hundreds of CVs that over-index their skills in certain areas to, optimize their experience to get to that first stage interview, etc. And this is why I think the role of a source is so much more important, right? There's going to be so much noise on both sides, and that kind of much more focused, curated approach where you're after pretty hard to reach individuals, whether that's hard to reach because you're struggling to get response. Hard to reach because it's hard to find them, or hard to reach because you're having to go through a sea of individuals to get to them from the pile of irrelevance. Like the goal of a sourcer is so much more crucial. And so with like practically, how do you think people are going to be using AI to source candidates, right? You've got a storied set of experience across some of the biggest names in tech in finding candidates, using tech to aid that all the way along the journey. But yeah, how do you see this next wave of technology help like practically day to day?
So Sam, one of the things that I'm actually going to be talking about SourceCon, and if this airs before SourceCon, great. I want to see all of you there for this talk, for this conversation. It will be an exclusive conversation that I will be leading, where I will be showing you how you can use different generative AIs and LLMs to produce candidates, right? So one of the things that I'm really excited about is that when you go into ChatGPT 4.0 as opposed to the deep thinking one, you can actually drop Boolean into it and it won't redirect you to LinkedIn. It won't tell you maybe you should do this search on LinkedIn. It'll produce 4 to 5 candidates and it'll give you a quick summary. It'll give you a snapshot about who they are, right? So
yeah, like that.
That's cool. But if you go to Claude and you put in the same search results, it's going to give you 5 candidates, but it's also going to give you the competencies that those companies index on. So you know what to question that candidate about or what to say in the outreach. So for instance, if we went into Claude and we said, I want to talk to Sam, or I want to talk to people who work for Hackajob, who are they? And it gives me 5 profiles. And we kind of say, it's not, we're not going to have a conversation with Sam, but we say we're going to have a conversation with Melissa. It's okay. But okay, so we're going to have a conversation with Sam because in the notes it says, if you do not talk to Sam, his feelings will be hurt. We're able to use that information to procure the conversation and say, Sam, I noticed that you have these soft skills and that they're really important when it comes to doing a great job at Hackajob. I was wondering if you have 15 minutes to connect about what it's like to do things for Hackajob and to build an organization that scales and is disrupted at the same time. Do you have time to talk? So we're taking that information, we're taking it from that anodyne place that I talked about earlier, and we're adding that layer of true personalization, that synthesis that only we as individuals can create. And instead of reaching out to 100 SAMs, we're only reaching out to 20 SAMs in a day, right? If you've got a 30% response rate on LinkedIn, or you have a 40% response rate using email, or maybe you even have a higher response rate if you're using Hackajob, where candidates are coming to you who meet with your requirements and you guys meet in the middle. When you have that response rate, I would ask, who wants to talk to a response rate of 30% means you're talking to about 6 candidates a day. Who wants to talk to 10 candidates in a day, right? The senseless bombardment of non-personalized messaging, it's going to get lost. It is going to become that signal to noise ratio that we talked about. At the same time, we've got to sharpen the stone. We've got to really have an inflection point about whether sending 100 in-mails or sending 100 emails. And tisk, if you're sending 100 emails, you're doing some real damage to your email deliverability score. Just going to put that out there. Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft are coming for you, right? You will feel their wrath as you banish your domain to the folder of junk. Nobody wants to be in the folder of junk. It is like the island of disregarded toys, of misfit toys. As we, in all seriousness, as we talk about that, we want to get more precise and level our targeting and move in a downward capacity. I know it's a numbers game. I know there are people who are from agency land and from Recruiterville in internal recruiting that are saying, what? He wants us to contact fewer people? I want you to make better contact with fewer people.
And it's like this old setup before, right? You'd always think, right, a campaign's gone well because we've managed to generate X number of applications. It's like vanity metrics sometimes when we're looking at things as TA functions, while we're looking at campaigns for Brad. It's like, oh, we've had X amount of increase in the number of applications. Therefore, this project's gone well. I think what is becoming increasingly apparent, I've been talking about this for a number of years, is this operational pressure for recruitment and resourcing teams is not going to disappear. It's going to become more compounded. It's going to become more difficult. One-click apply, started that journey. It was accelerated by generative AI. They put the afterburners on it and allowed candidates.
Wait a minute, Sam, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt you here. Why do you think that generative AI has accelerated application flow?
So I think it's so much easier for a candidate. And I also love the fact you're now interviewing me. I love it. But Yeah, I think, it's allowed candidates, if you use tools like Lazy Apply, there's 300 candidate focused ATSs to manage huge
Yes.
volumes of applications. You can produce applications for roles, at an instant, at the drop of a hat, and it will be customized and indexed in order to match to roles that you're applying for. And it's that element of truthiness again, right? It's that element of like, what's actually the reflection of the individual that you're talking to? Have they actually even seen your company when they've come to apply? Have they even thought about working for your brand? And I think that exchange, the value exchange, when we think about candidate experience, has changed. Before, somebody takes the time to complete your arduous application process through your ATS,
100%.
create that, you have to give them the response. Well, if somebody's not spending any time to do that, then all of a sudden it's, how much time do you need to give them? And I think it's then that point on when we think about the deluge of applications you should put it. It's generative AI in that sense. How can you order, the applicants within your flow? But there's a lot of hesitance from enterprise organizations to allow the machines to make the decisions on people that have made that application decision, and rightly so. But I know also they're doing that well. So,
Sam, because here's the thing: we've done keyword matching for decades now. Okay, like I'm gonna tell everybody that Brian has been in recruiting for like 18 years. It'll be 19 years on November 1st. We're almost there. Woo! I remember keyword matching inside of Career Builder. Okay, Career Builder has entered the chat. Suddenly, it's got relevancy again, right? It's kind of hard to hold back. That was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. And you had keyword matching that accelerated what could be done when somebody faxed over a resume. Yes, I started in recruiting when people faxed resumes. Okay, like very weird times. I have lots of stories about that and lots of mishaps with fax machines and not putting the paper in on Monday morning, whatever. Okay. The reality of it is that there have always been tools that recruiters have used that are nanoscent AIs, right? Like that are inference engines, right? Like if a person puts the keyword Kubernetes in their resume so many times, an inference engine says, they must know Kubernetes really, really well. They must be the top of the heap. So I'm going to show that resume first. What I would say is I think recruiters by and large trust AI as much as they did 20 years ago when they were told that the job boards were going to kill the need for recruiters. I also think that you can look at resumes and you can compare, and if you're going through resumes one after another, you can tell that something is up if they're using the same descript language, right? But that's almost as if we're training ourselves to detect what is real and what is fake. I don't think that a tool like, I'm not gonna single out an ATS. I'm not gonna say what I'm using, but I just don't think that it does it. I don't think it does it, right? Like I still have 1,000 resumes that have come in for an AI analyst role that I'm working on. And I'm using Boolean constructs in the search field to find those individuals that have mentions of the keywords that the hiring manager has said that they really want to see. I also think that there are certain inferences that recruiters need to know how to make that the machines can't make. Right. So guys, real quick, I did a demo of Hack a Job at RecFest, and I was blown away by the fact that I could put in the words Kubernetes and it knew that the phrase AKS and EKS and GKE were synonyms for Kubernetes. Okay. I need that level of inference in every applicant tracking system I'm using. It's not there. Sorry. I hate to pop the bubble of reality and say that the AI market is still undervalued and hasn't caught up. That was, and it also found K8s. I mean, like it did all the synonyms. It was brilliant.
And you've done that bit for me. Like when you were talking about keyword matching, I was just like holding back everything to not dive in and say, imagine if you could match with context. But it's almost that contextualization. Zoom out from Hack a Job, right? It's that contextualization of the humans being able to make those connections between different skills, experiences, backgrounds, add that sort of artisanal effect to understanding the difference between people when we're doing it. I think that point on precision was so important, and that's really where we need to focus. And there needs to be something that can layer on top of ATSs. That's just going to be a reality. Otherwise, it's going to be an operational nightmare. teams are splitting just quickly. I know teams that are splitting between recruiters that just process applications and recruiters that just do sourcing, right? And that's folly. Like, where's the human value in just reviewing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of CVs where the candidates likely haven't even made that application or haven't given it much thought with the one click, right? So I think that side, there's some work to do. On the like other tactical tools, things like what else should people be looking at, beyond GPT, beyond Claude, like how can we get the precision? Let's say for the hottest talent in the market right now, how would you go about finding AI, ML engineers, serious?
Dude, I use this free tool. It's going to blow your mind. It's called Google Scholar, baby. Google Scholar. Double up. Okay, so what does Google Scholar do that regular Google doesn't do? I want you to think of Google Scholar like a custom search engine that specifically goes through published papers that are research papers. So if I want to find those people who are doing LLM and generative AI and signal processing today, I need to go back in time. There, you got a song, Sam. A little back in time, little Back to the Future soundtrack from Huey Lewis and the News. Getting rid of the noise, going back to the signal. I need to go and I need to find the person who published the paper in 2018, right? Because they published a paper in 2018 about generative neural networks or signal processing. I know that when I find them on GitHub or when I find them on Kaggle, that I have found the same person who has 6 years of experience doing this, right? So I can come back to them and I can go to, look, if you've got a stanford.edu email address, you're not giving that up. That is gold. That is paid for. I'm going to email you at that address that Google Scholar gave me, and we're going to have a conversation that starts with, did you write the paper on blah, 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 blah? Right? Now here's where we get a little audacious, right? Take the name of the paper and take the URL of the paper and drop it into a GPT-4, a chat GPT-4, and say, summarize this paper.
Intelligent. I see where this is going.
Yeah, summarize this paper for me, right? I do not have the attention span to read academic papers anymore. That was really cool when I was at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. That was really cool when I was in school, but I don't know that I have the aptitude to do that, but I definitely have the competency to use tools that make that easier for me. So that's one way that I'm leveraging an old tool, Google Scholar, which is free, and I'm leveraging a $20 a month tool to tell me what the hell this paper is about. Now, I will also say that you can do something similar if you go in, and this is going to be in my talk at SourceCon, is if you go into Meta's Llama and drop in the paper and say, who else wrote this academic paper? Who is cited in this that I should have this conversation with?
Yeah.
And as long as you're getting into papers, why not get into books? Another free resource that people don't use enough for sourcing is this Amazon.com. It is the Amazon of .coms, right? And you can go there and you could type in Intro to Machine Learning, and you could find all these books that are published by both academic organizations. Their master's theses have been turned into books. And you can see the comments that people have made. Who's commenting on whether or not a book about LLMs is good or not? Not Sam, not Brian. We don't have the aptitude to do that. We have the confidence to write it on the keyboard, but nobody's going to read what we read. Go in and click on that person's profile and find their shopping profile and connect with them on Amazon.com. Wild and crazy idea. I will not be showing that at SourceCon, but I've done that in the past. You can probably find a video of me doing that with Ryan I think there's video out there that does that.
And I think, this is proper, again, precision sourcing, right? Where you're trying to find those hardest to find individuals and engaging in the right way. And I think then, finding people not necessarily is the difficult bit, is then getting that engagement. And what you don't want to do then is then, find these 50 people and then send them 50 similar messages, right? It's then actually taking the time, right, to get the engagement. Why would you waste your energy?
Yeah, look, the author of the book, reach out to the author of the book and say, hey, know that you wrote this book. Who do you look up to in this field? I need your advice. That 6-letter word is the most powerful word that somebody can use in a message. Put it together with the word you, with the pronoun you, make it about them. There's a nugget right there. Shout out to Amy Miller. Amy Miller, years ago, changed the way that I message people. Amy Miller, who's at Amazon with Project Copier, she told me about the radio station WWFM. what's in it for them? Radio, right? So this is an instance whereby we can have a real genuine conversation around you, the individual, you, the person who's the decision maker, you, the person who's going to be responsible for these actions. Yeah. So that's what I got.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think when we're then looking at that message, we're then making it about them. It's like joining the dots, getting that connection, and it's almost we're singing from the same hymn sheet here. You should be using it to augment, and it's a really tired and overused phrase when we talk about AI, but it should be adding to the human value, not taking away from it. And I think what takes away from the human value is the volume of irrelevance. What adds to the human value is being able to cover things from a more considered, more educated position with better precision, and then be able to have a really productive conversation with people and build networks and build communities, leveraging tools that can bring you up to, a place where you can have that conversation, and whether that's internal or external as well. So yeah, love that guidance. What else? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Are we done?
Final thoughts. In pink, it's the Fink. A set of hashtags. What are we going to end with? What's next? What comes in 2025? Let's do some crystal ball stuff. This will be released in a few weeks.
Crystal ball. All right. So
crystal ball stuff. Let's end on crystal ball.
All right. So what comes in 2025 is that you're going to have a bigger deluge of resumes, and there's going to be a loss of personalization, because there are people that are listening to this conversation who are going to try to prove me wrong and say, I'm going to send out 100 emails. No, there are, and I'm good with that. Like, I sleep well at night to know I got my Haterade on. Right? There are tools like, can I say LinkedIn if I can? Okay,
go on.
But LinkedIn,
and it's all hero. It's not the thoughts of the power of people building podcasts and the platform that we launch. But yeah, go on, LinkedIn. Hit me.
No, but like LinkedIn has done such a good job of alienating their community by not letting them know that their content is going to go into their GPTs. Right? They have done a disservice to their community. All right, that disservice is going to produce more hallucinations in these emails that are sent to and from individuals. I have LinkedIn Recruiter. I do. I'm happy to say that I've got it. Probably accounts for about 20% of my lives, especially at the exec level. I have LinkedIn Premium, which I have because I'm able to use LinkedIn Learning, and I love LinkedIn Learning, even though you can use it for free if you have a library card in the United States. That I like to keep the matriculation. There's a little tidbit, but those two elements allow you to in-mail individuals using generative AI. And with the premium feature, you can click on a button and ask the question, tell me more about Sam. And it gives me a short bio about Sam, right? And that's a premium feature. All of that data that Sam is incurring, and if he doesn't opt out, is going to be put into that inference engine. And I think it's a great disservice to the community, because they are really trying to monetize hard and to make us the bacon. Whereas there's another tool that's called Llama, which I really like, and it's made by Facebook, and I can use it to reverse index LinkedIn. And Sam, if you'll have me back, I'll be happy to show how to do that after SourceCon. I'm sure this was not the SourceCon promo show, okay? But all the things that we're talking about are part of the talk at SourceCon. Sam, is there anything that you want to say? I want to give you the opportunity to be the host again.
Yeah, no. Wait, look, I think when we come to that, obviously the biggest mover that we're going to have in the space when we think about AI is the moves that LinkedIn make, because everybody has a license, everybody has a subscription at one level or another. If you're working in TA, talent acquisition, recruitment, agency, whatever, you're going to have a presence at some level on that platform. So that's how people are most connected to it. The next way people are most connected is the other everyday tools, right? The Microsoft suites, the Google suites. So you're going to find yourself becoming more and more ingrained with using AI every day. And so then how do you break them all? How do you make sure that you're different in the way in which you approach things? Because otherwise you're all feeding into the same machine, the same motion. So I think you need to step outside of, the meta, and not meta literally, but outside of the meta, right? And do something different, which is exactly what you've highlighted in terms of those like Google Scholar examples, is taking that different view, that different path of how to reach people.
Well, Sam, one of the other ways that's really interesting, and it kind of goes back to where we started the conversation about deep fakes, right? Is that one of the reasons that I have LinkedIn Premium is so that I can, not Recruiter, but Premium is so I can send in-mails to people. And when I send them an in-mail, I can send them a video, right? And I can say, Sam, and you see the words coming out of my mouth. My name is Brian Fink. This is what I do. This is my library. You can zoom in on it. You can have all those features. And I try to make that communication as authentic as possible with the individual. I may not be able to do it at scale. I would if I was using a deep fake or an avatar of myself. But that is the difference between authenticity and automation. And I think that the point that I'd want to end on is that we have to keep our authenticity, and we have to find a way to be able to make it more precise so that we can increase our response rates and make sure we're having conversations with candidates that we really want to connect with. Sam, thank you for connecting with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Love it, man. Love it. Loved having you on. And we will stay connected forever, I'm sure. Buddy, loads of great advice. Great episode. If you're not a Source Gun, go and check him out when you see the full talk of some of these themes. And we'll definitely have you back on, buddy, for some bits for next year.
All right, 2025. Let's go. Let's have some fun.
Here we go. It's another one of these ones. It's another little shoulder bounce.
Double up.
All right, baby.